One of the things that I was really looking for this week is to start paying attention to stepping back. And so much of the book so far, so much of my morning talk so far has been about go forward, find clarity, hustle, build momentum, get velocity, and go. But there's a point where either life or you kind of have to step back and look at the big picture. What's up, Lorraine? I love the new name, Artistry by Lorraine. I love it. I checked out the site. Amazing, amazing. Tanzim, what's up, brother? Mindful Learning, you are on my call list today. Could you do me a favor and DM your phone number to me so I can give you a call on my ride into work and say what's up? So that's what we were talking about last week, or that's what we wanted to talk about this week. This idea of taking 2 steps back, and this conversation sort of resonated with me because over the weekend I was talking to an artist, and this person was like, "Look, every time I go forward, I feel like I'm actually going 2 step backs, and 2 step back, and it's really frustrating." And I was thinking about that comment, 2 steps back. And why is that negative? And how unhealthy it is to constantly go. And there's many ways to sort of stop that mindset of go. And one of the best ways, and I'm living proof of this, is sometimes you got to take 2 steps back before you can launch 5 steps forward. Let me explain what that is, you know what I mean? But before I do that, for those of you that are joining for the very first time, my name is Satish Bala, aka Sat B. This show, Making Money Moves, is my morning routine to spread love, gratitude, and also my blueprint. Prior to COVID, I was running a company called Bala Group. We were a hybrid incubator, accelerator. For those of you that don't know what that means, essentially, I work with entrepreneurs from the community, people of color, female, and help them take their ideas from 0 to their first million. And my goal is to figure out how to help as many people in our community hit their first million. And the first million is an interesting number. It's the one number that we as immigrants, as refugees, as people with scarcity dream of. I want to be a millionaire one day, but there's no blueprint. And I feel like over the last 25 years, I found the right blueprint, the right personal growth, the right hustle to go ahead and make my first million. And I've done it a bunch of times, 50 times to be honest, over the last 25 years. And what I've realized is, while the money is an important goal, the mindset you develop to get to a million, or the mindset you develop to get to that number that you want, is really the opportunity. And from a lot of us from an immigrant background, making $1 million feels like a long, impossible path, because we're not supposed to think like that. We're supposed to survive. We're supposed to get by. We're supposed to make do. Make $1 feel like 10. Well, why not? Let's go make 10. Let's go make 100. Let's go make 1,000. Let's go make 1 million. And that was sort of the path I went on when I was 17 or 18. And there was no blueprint. There was no representation. There was no uncle that I can go learn from. And so that's what Bala Group is about. And then prior to COVID, we had 8 companies. Our dream was to get to 100 companies that we can take from 0 to 1 million, and not only impact the founder, but take their product or idea to market, and more importantly, change the culture of entrepreneurship in Canada by helping more people of color, minorities, and females become millionaires, who all of a sudden now have an opportunity to be on the other side and reinvest in the community, become a voice for change. That was the dream. And then COVID sort of altered it. If we spoke 3 months ago, I would have said COVID kind of killed it. But now, coming out of this daze, I'm realizing how incredible it is for COVID, because it allowed me to get the clarity that I don't need a big infrastructure to be able to do that. Helping people shift their mindset, helping people really focus on the core things, using my story and my blueprint to help you get to yours. I don't need a big infrastructure for it. So now I spent the last 30 days rejigging Ballot Group from an incubator, accelerator company to an individual service. So I'll go into it more over the next few shows, but it's coaching meets investment, and I'm not fully confident on all the pieces yet, but every single day as I work on myself, my style is slowly coming together, and I believe in the next couple of months, once we perfect the formula, that we're going to have such an incredible way to impact people in 2021 with new ideas, new blueprints, new conferences, new shows where we actually can help you shift your mindset. So anyhow, that's a little bit about me for those of you that are watching or watching this later. The big thing that I want to talk about today is this idea of taking 2 steps back. And, we've been talking a lot about how to build momentum. So the formula for that we've discussed so far is find a problem that you care about, something that bugs you at a core level, something you're passionate to solve. Find out why you want to solve it. There's a lot of people that can solve problems, but why do you want to solve this particular problem? And then take the time to find the right solution for the product market fit. At the end of the day, you got to design or develop or offer something unique enough that a bunch of people want to buy your version of the solution. And where we get caught up is we have to be the solution. No, there is 5 or 8 different types of Ubers. There's a dozen competition to Uber Eats. There's a whole bunch of lookalike convenience stores and retail stores and product brands and shit. Even the shoes you wear, you have options between the $20 basketball shoe and the $500 basketball shoe. So every solution out in the universe can have multiple ways to do them. And so if you find the problem that you love, there's many ways to solve it. So don't get caught up on competition. And there's no real competition for me other than an opportunity to serve somebody at the best that you can do. And if that's your mindset getting into business, you'll always find a group of people that resonate to how you solve their problem. So they're going to come for you. They're going to give you the money. And that's one of the things we focus on. Forget about trying to beat competition. You can do that naturally. You can rise to the top by winning more customers. But if you're focusing on what the competition is doing, you're not focusing on you or your customer. And so figure out what that product market fit is. And the minute it starts to work, go all in. Go all in on it and hold on to that ride. And when you're creating a business plan, as we've already talked about, and as a quick recap, make sure that your plan for success includes a business plan and a self-plan. You cannot be successful in business without becoming more confident, more well-rounded, and a better version of yourself. And those two are completely interconnected. To become a great leader, to attract amazing staff, to win the confidence of customers, you got to grow. You got to grow. You got to read. You got to change your circle of friends. You got to look for inspiration every single day. And as you get better and you become more connected with who you are or want to become, then your business starts to react by going up. And you can handle the challenges because you're growing and you've got the maturity to be able to handle the challenges that life throws at you. But every now and then, we got to take a step back. And we've been taught, 2 step back is bad, going backwards is bad. Well, the way I look at it is, every now and then when you take 2 steps back because life either slows you down or you don't know where to go to next. When you hit that plateau, business has its ceilings, man. No matter how hard you try, every single day, your job as a business owner, as a CEO, as a founder, is to break through new glass ceilings. And to break through anything is painful. Right? We're talking about breaking through something an aggressive move. And sometimes the ceiling is a new market. Sometimes the ceiling is culture, staff. Sometimes it's you trying to, find confidence. But you got to constantly break through things every single day as an entrepreneur. And it gets tiring, it gets exhausting, and sometimes you just can't see the big picture. And so I practice taking 2 steps back every single week. And part of the way I shut down every single week, whether it's Friday, whether it's a Monday, it doesn't matter, but I focus every 7 to 10 days to sort of take 2 steps back. I stop for a minute and I jot down everything that is happening, everything that I want to do next, and I give myself permission to take 2 steps back and look at my own life, look at my own business, say, what am I doing wrong? What am I doing right? What are the areas that is not working? And sometimes these moments of pushbacks are not up to you. We had a great business plan. We had a great, personal plan. And then COVID happened and a whole bunch of things just came to a stop. And you had no choice but to take 2 steps back. And because the idea of taking 2 steps back is full of such a negative emotion that we feel like taking 2 steps back is a bad thing. Versus if you look at any moment in life that you felt like you've taken a step back and you look at where you are today, I guarantee you in hindsight, taking 2 steps back actually allowed you to get perspective. And that for me is what taking 2 steps back is. Taking a step back from being this close to something and getting perspective. So if we change the narrative from taking 2 steps back, bro, what's going on, to look for perspective in the direction you're headed. I'll use another analogy. When you're driving, you're not looking at right in front of you. You're not looking at the car in front of you. You're looking at the big, broad perspective. You're looking at the road signs, you're looking at 5 or 6 cars in front of you. You're looking behind you to see who's driving aggressive and cutting through to get to you. You're looking for opportunities to make sure you drive with defense, but you're also looking for opportunities to find pockets of traffic that you can speed through. And so perspective is a beautiful thing. And so what if we're not looking for 2 days back or 2 steps back? What we're really looking for is a way to take a step back for perspective. And when you look for perspective, what you're looking for is gaps and opportunities to accelerate where you're going. Right? When Desi Fest got stopped because of COVID, we had 2 options. We can either act like we're 2 steps back, 13 years of hustle. Now the show's done, the sponsors are gonna leave. There's no money, there's people that we have to let go, and we don't really have a plan. We took 2 steps back to get new perspective. We said, what does the new landscape look like? What is the future gonna look like? How can we look for gaps to participate? And that turned into 150 shows, over 300 new musicians and artists that we're supporting across the world, actually paying people money strategically. And there's a lot of things we haven't figured out. We haven't figured out how to make money. We haven't figured out how to get corporations back on board. We haven't figured out how to build a new team that is not live events anymore, but digital. We haven't figured out a lot of things. But my point is, taking the 2 step back allowed it to get new perspective, where we're still very relevant this year. In fact, we've been the most relevant ever in the mission to build a community of musicians and to support the culture this year, coincidentally, than any other year. And we wouldn't have seen that and attracted new people unless we took 2 steps back. Now we've got a brand new brand manager, we've got a production manager, we're about to build out our social media team and a media team, and all this will eventually lead to new revenue that we can redistribute into the marketplace. But the 2 steps back was a really interesting perspective. Similarly, when I look at what happened in my own life, all of these amazing startups and Ballot Group and over hundreds of thousands of dollars invested in a new company, new office space and everything, and COVID just killed all of it. Out of the 8 companies that were incubating, 6 of them no longer mattered. And the 2 that was left, Applause Music and Schoolio, my own dreams, which was what I was focusing on the least amount of time, had the most amount of relevancy all of a sudden. We're talking about music and live entertainment, which is getting impacted by COVID, and then the education system and homeschooling that was impacted by COVID. So again, it gave me a chance to take 2 steps back and go, okay, what was the vision for Ballot Group? Well, the vision for Ballot Group was to help community members and young startups and female founders achieve their first million as a mental breakthrough. And almost anybody, I guarantee you, with the right product market fit and a solution that you really give a shit about, that you want to work really hard on, I can get you to your first million. We have a lot of work to do. 12 months goes by really fast, but you can make $1 million. Okay? And that for me was sort of the breakthrough, and looked at. I was like, oh man, that work doesn't have to stop. We just have to change the way we do it. We just have to change the way we service the people that want to service. And so now we're relaunching Bala Group end of this year as a executive coaching service with an investment arm where I can work with select founders that are willing to do the work to get to the first million that I can also invest in as an investor. I would have never seen this model unless COVID happened. In fact, this model allows me to have an international client base, not just Canadian anymore. You don't have to come to work with us. And so the pit stop was super important. The 2 steps back was really important. So if you are feeling like you're falling behind, if you're feeling like you're taking 2 steps back in the momentum that you've built, I urge you to sort of live in that moment. Take those 2 steps back, take those 3 steps back, knowing what you're really looking for is perspective. And when perspective aligns with vision, you get to move a lot faster than where you are today. And that's what we've realized with AC Fest. Our perspective has now given us a new vision. And with this new vision, from September to December, we're going to be a rocket ship. We're going to hit 500 artists. We're going to make money. We're going to find sponsors that care about the way we see the world. We are going to represent the culture through music, and we are all in. But that perspective gave me the confidence to invest in a studio, invest in thousands of dollars of gears, invest in new team members. Without it, there's no need to, So taking that 2 step back, taking that pivot, or pit stop is super important, guys. And when you're in that pit stop, when you're in that 2 steps back, I want you to focus on 3 things, okay? 1, do the things that you typically wouldn't do because you think it's not the right thing to do. Things that you think, I don't want to do that. It's not what I typically do. If you're in a relationship, try to change your profile. Change up that picture, change up your description, change up your characteristics. Change up on the people you're swiping right to see what happens. That's what we did. We were doing urban music for so long, and it just didn't fit anymore in this new world. So we decided to go Bollywood. And today, we've got such a huge footprint in the Canadian Bollywood scene. I would have never imagined that 3 months ago, right? But it gave us visibility into a whole new market, a whole new opportunity that we would have blindly missed for the next 10 years. So when you're in that pit stop, do something you typically wouldn't do and see what that looks like and feels like. Number 2, connect with people you typically wouldn't deal with. Because we get into this process where we do the same things we do like robots, automatic, momentum, which is important. You want to get to that level, which we talked about the last few months. But at the same time, when you're in that 2-step backward, reset mode or pit step mode, it's a perfect time to go out and reconnect or reach out to new people. Part of what I do this morning show is I get a chance to reach out to anybody now. We've got 40 shows in the bank, data, stats. People can see what I talk about, how I talk about things. So I'm reaching out to people that are not in my circle or people that are in my circle that I've never reconnected. If you guys look at all of my conversations over the last 30 days, majority of the people I haven't seen in 8 to 10 years. Sunny in almost 6 years that we spoke last week on. Anu, who's a good friend of mine, over 10 years we haven't spoken. Right? So I decided to reach out to folks that were important in my life, to have a discussion about life, to bring myself a new perspective. And if COVID hasn't stopped us and we weren't reconsidering everything about perspective, and I wasn't doing this morning show, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to listen to their wisdom and learn from them and get inspired. So when you're in that 2-step back moment, it's the perfect time to reach out to people in your network that you haven't had a chance to connect with, or people that you've been watching or paying attention to but haven't had the reason or the opportunity to reach out. I now, with my morning show, can reach out to anybody with confidence because I've got something of value to add to them. Knowledge, experience, a platform. And finally, the third thing, when you're going through this two-step back mindset, say yes. Say yes to things that you typically wouldn't say yes to. I'll give you a little story. Coming out of my second company, New Age Consulting, I was in a bit of a downturn. I sold the business, but I didn't know what to do next. I knew I wanted to be creative. My first 2 companies were very technical, very technology driven, but I had another voice in me that was a storyteller that didn't have a place. Tech back in the 2000s was very simple. You're either a technology person or you're not. And my degree said I'm a technology person. I went to school for 5 years to become a computer engineer. But my heart had a creative soul, and there was any outlet. And the minute people met me and they heard, oh, computer science and Ryerson, and you're a technology guy, you ran 2 more companies, they fully discounted my ability to be creative and storytelling. And I didn't have a place. And so I was like, what do I do? And in that moment, I decided I'm going to follow my own 2 steps back mindset, even though I just sold a company. And financially, I was okay. My wife is pregnant. What up, Nick? Amisha, thank you so much for joining. And Nirmala, what's up? I was like, well, how do I not look at this as a 2 steps back? Because all of a sudden I'm unemployed. I went for, working for 2 to 3 years, building my own company, having a pretty decent exit to unemployment. And the thing is, like, when people have full-time jobs, okay, people work 9 to 5, they are in between jobs, okay? When they don't have something to work on, they got fired or they left the job and getting a new job, they are in between jobs. And everybody understands it. Oh, you're no longer with About Canada? Man, you're in between jobs. What are you looking for next? When you're an entrepreneur, you either are your own boss or you're unemployed. And I was like, man, I'm unemployed. I don't know what to do next. I'm at the prime. I'm in my early 20s. What do I do next? I got a wife that's pregnant. I gotta start something else. This is 2005 and 6. So I took the same advice I'm giving you in 2006. So that's how long ago this mindset has been with me. I said, all right, I'll take 2 steps back and get some new perspective. And I took 2 steps back and I realized, okay, I have money in the bank. I'm good for at least 2 years of not having to work. And instead of channeling that energy into negativity, how can I look at what do I do next and how do I want to reinvent myself? And I said yes to new ideas. I started reaching out to people that I've met in opportunities I typically wouldn't care about. Like I was golfing in 2006. And I hate golf. I found the whole sport super boring. But I met so many amazing, smart, successful, rich people doing these golf tournaments. I said, man, I gotta start reaching out to some of these people, say what's up. And one of those random phone calls to the CEO of a company called Pareto led me to a summer gig as a CTO for a marketing company. And if you looked at sort of the ego that I was riding back then, I just had my second successful exit since getting into business when I was 20. And in 7 years since I started my first company in 1999, I've already built and sold 2 companies. Now I'm like, I'm the shit, but I have nothing to do. I have no motivation. So I take a 6-month gig with somebody. And in this gig that happened, because I called a rich, older white dude that I met during golfing, that I had no business to be in, I was invited into the world that I've been dreaming about. A world where technology and creativity merged. It was an advertising agency. I had no idea what the hell an advertising agency was. But the minute I got in the first day, I was like, whoa, here's a room full of smart people whose job is to create something from nothing. That's right, homie, New Age Consulting. And I had no idea this industry existed. Because when you're studying in Ryerson and computer science, they tell you about IBM and Microsoft and tech companies, but don't tell you anything about these other roles. And I was like, whoa, there's something called a creative agency, and you get to dream of ideas and tell clients how to solve problems and get paid for it? What the fuck? How come nobody told me about this? So then I went ahead and took that gig and put my ego aside. And for the next 6 months, I learned everything about campaigns, creative storytelling, pitching clients and advertising deals, meeting a circle of new clients that I would never have met. And after the 6 months, I launched Blue Band Media, and Blue Band Media over the next 12 years became one of Canada's top digital marketing agency. I became known as a storyteller and a brand manager. I worked on some of the biggest brands from McDonald's to Ford to NBA Canada. During this time, I learned so much that I was able to grow Daisy Fest into a national successful festival. All because in 2006, the summer of 2006, I took 2 steps back, found some new perspective, I reached out to people that I typically wouldn't connect to, said yes to an opportunity that I would have typically not taken. You know? And then that led to a beautiful 12 years of my dream job. And in many ways, after I sold the company and I was unemployed again, and I wasn't sure what to do at 44, who the hell is going to hire a CEO? You know, so I went back and did the same thing. I said yes to a bunch of new things. I reached out to people that I typically wouldn't. And I started focusing on ways to improve myself. And that took me on a 12-month journey across the world as a keynote speaker, helped me establish Valor Group, the incubator accelerator focused on South Asians and minorities and females as a business owner. And it really allowed me to look at where can I go next. Just like the kid that was in 2006 wondering how can I be more creative. And there's no crystal ball to see what the future is. But the closest we're going to get is by taking 2 steps back and looking at the perspective. And like I said before, when you look for perspective and align it with your vision, you can become your own rocket ship in your life and get to that destination you want to get to and live the best life, yo. So that's Monday's hangout. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you, man. I'm a Swiss Army knife. That literally is what is going to go on the post, the Swiss Army knife. And I got you on the talk, Nick. It's been a minute. Got to get you on here with a hustle, man. You're just like me, bro. Building businesses and big shout out to the success for everything you guys are doing. Universal Misting. I love seeing your posts, especially the one at the airport. I love it. I love the fact that you guys are innovating and creating, and we should talk about that. You know, I'm gonna hit you up. Let's jump on the show. I want people to hear the OG Scarborough hustle and the moves you've made to get where you're headed, man. So I'm excited to get you on that call. But anyhow, that's my call. That's my topic. I hope you guys enjoyed this morning's session. We got an exciting show this week with a bunch of different people coming on to talk about this topic of how do you take a few steps back in life so you can find perspective and then be a trajectory, be that rubber band in your own life, you know, pull it back a tiny bit and then bam, you're out the door. You're a rocket ship. I love you. Thank you for watching.